Psychokinesis, Mind over Matter. Part 1. The Thought That Moved. Good evening, dear listener. As you sink into your space tonight, take a moment to let everything slow down. Let your shoulders soften. Let your breathing find a steady rhythm. Let your thoughts float gently, without needing to go anywhere. Now imagine this: a quiet room. A person sits still. Across the table, a small metal object. Light, still, waiting. The person doesn't speak. They don't move. But slowly, the object begins to turn. Not by hand, not by wind, but by thought. This is the mystery of psychokinesis, also called telekinesis. The idea that the mind can move matter. It sounds like fiction, like something out of an old story. But for many, it's a question worth asking. Can the mind reach beyond the body? Throughout history, this idea has quietly threaded its way through different cultures and times. In ancient texts, there are stories of monks who could levitate, objects moving during deep meditation, dreamers waking to find things out of place without touching a thing. And in more modern times, quiet experiments behind closed doors, people focusing on dice, spoons, needles, watching, waiting, willfully wondering. Some called it imagination, others illusion, but some walked away from it changed. What if it's real? What if thought can shape the physical world? Not in big, flashy ways, but subtle ones, like bending the edge of a flame, or shifting a compass needle by a fraction, or making something fall a second too soon. And maybe it isn't about control. Maybe it's about connection. The idea that matter and mind aren't separate, that they're just different expressions of the same thing, one moving faster, one moving slower, but both moving. As you lie here, you don't need to believe it. Just imagine it. Your thoughts, not trapped in your skull, but floating gently outward, like ripples in still water. What could they touch? What could they shift? Not with effort, not with force, but with awareness. Breathe now and feel the space around you. Maybe it's listening, maybe it always has been. Part 2. Ancient Minds, Hidden Powers. Welcome back, traveler of thought. You're drifting now, calm, weightless, carried on the soft current of curiosity. Tonight, we journey back, because the idea of psychokinesis isn't new. Long before the word existed, people spoke of it in whispers, through stories, rituals, and quiet wonder. In temples and mountain caves, monks practiced stillness so deep, the world seemed to respond. Objects moved, flames shifted, dust lifted from the floor. They didn't call it magic, they didn't call it science, they just called it discipline. They believed the mind wasn't trapped in the body, that thought could travel, that awareness could shape the world, gently. In ancient India, sages spoke of siddhis, spiritual abilities that came from long meditation, the power to move matter with thought alone. In Egypt, priests studied energy, vibration, sound. They believed the mind could focus intention in a way that affected the space around them. Even in early Greece, there were stories of thinkers so attuned to nature that they could influence the elements themselves. These weren't tricks. They were considered signs of balance, signs that the mind had quieted enough to hear something deeper, and in that quiet, something happened. Something subtle, something soft, something real. Not for show, not for power, but for harmony. To them, psychokinesis wasn't about doing. It was about being. Being so fully present, the world responded. So as you rest here now, feel that stillness, feel your presence. There's no need to act, just breathe. Maybe you don't need to move anything tonight. Maybe you just need to remember that your mind is not small. It's wide, quiet, and powerful in ways you don't always see, even in rest, especially in rest. Part 3. The energy between things. Welcome back. You're still. Your breath is soft, and the space around you feels just a little more alive. Tonight we explore what might lie between your fingers and the air, between your thoughts and the world. Invisible, but not empty. In many traditions it's said that everything is made of energy, even solid things, even thoughts. And if everything is energy, just moving at different speeds, then maybe the gap between mind and matter isn't so wide after all. Imagine this. You reach out your hand, not to touch, but to sense. And in that space between your skin and the object, there's something, a field, a pulse, a subtle thread. Psychokinesis, some say, is not about controlling that space. It's about feeling it, becoming aware of the energy that connects everything. In some practices this is called ki or ki, the life force, the subtle current that moves through all things. You can't see it, but you can sense it. The heat from your palms, the weight in the air, the tingling when you focus on a single point. It's not about belief, it's about sensation, a knowing without thinking. Some people train for years to feel that field, not to move things with it, but to move with it, like a current in water, like wind through leaves. As you rest now, try nothing. Simply feel. Hold your hand slightly above your chest. Notice the warmth, the space. Don't try to change it. Just be with it. This is the beginning, not of force, but of listening, of remembering that the world around you and within you is always in quiet conversation. You just have to be still enough to hear it. Part 4. Training the stillness. Welcome back. You're in it now. Not just the story, but the feeling, the soft edge of awareness where the world begins to blur and blend. Tonight, we sit with the practice. Because if psychokinesis is real, or even just possible, then it doesn't come from strain. It comes from stillness. Not tension, not force, but focus. Imagine a pond, the surface flat. Then imagine a single drop of water falling. It sends ripples out in all directions. That's what your thoughts can be. When the mind is quiet, one clear intention can ripple outward. But most of the time, the pond is busy. Waves, wind, movement. So the first step, still the water. This is where training begins. Some people sit in silence for minutes, others for hours, not to do something, but to become aware of the breath, of the body, of the space around them. They learn to hold a single thought like a candle flame in the dark, not clinging, just steady. And from that steady place, they begin to feel the shift, not dramatic, not sudden, but real, a small movement, a subtle change. Like the world responding to a whisper, psychokinesis isn't about showing off. It's about deep listening, deep stillness, deep respect for the mystery of what connects us. So as you lie here now, let your body be the pond, let your breath be the surface, let your thoughts slow. You're not trying to move the world tonight, you're just learning how to not move. And in that stillness, the world may move with you. Part 5. When the mind reaches out. Welcome back. You're quiet now, inside and out. Your body is still, your breath soft, and your awareness open. Tonight we imagine what it feels like when the mind reaches beyond itself, not to grab, not to pull, but to touch. Because if psychokinesis is possible, it likely begins not with action, but with presence. Picture this: a small object on a table, a paperclip, a candle flame, a feather. You're not moving your body, you're simply noticing the space between, noticing the way your thoughts land in the world around you. You don't push the object with your mind, you merge with it. As if your awareness wraps around it like water, you feel its weight, its balance, its stillness, and then, maybe, something shifts. A twitch, a tilt, a flicker of movement that feels not caused, but allowed. This is the quiet space where psychokinesis lives. It doesn't need to be big. It doesn't need to be seen. It just needs to be felt. And maybe it's not about the object at all. Maybe it's about the practice. About learning that your mind is not contained by your body, that your attention is a kind of touch, and that everything around you feels you too. So as you lie here now, try this. Imagine a small object beside you, something light. Imagine your awareness resting on it, not trying to move it, just being with it. Feel the space between you soften. That's enough. No effort, no force, just presence. Maybe that's all it ever was. Part 6. The weight of belief. Welcome back. You're deep now, held in stillness, resting in a space where possibility and peace can exist together. Tonight we explore something invisible, but powerful: belief. Not belief as in faith, but belief as in structure. The quiet framework behind what you think is possible. Because psychokinesis, like many things, may begin in the mind, but it grows in what the mind allows. If you've always been told something can't happen, your thoughts may never even try to go there. Not because they're wrong, but because they've been trained to stay inside the walls. But what if those walls are soft? What if they're not rules, but habits? What if what you believe about the world is just the shape your thoughts learn to fit into? In many old traditions, belief wasn't something you argued about. It was something you felt, a knowing that came not from proof, but from stillness, experience, curiosity. Some say belief has weight, that it creates pressure, soft but strong, on the world around us. That when enough belief gathers in one direction, the world begins to move. Not because the belief changes reality, but because reality was always more open than we thought. So as you rest here, ask gently, what do I believe is possible? Where did that belief come from? Is it still serving me? No need to answer. Just let the question echo, like a quiet footstep in a wide open space. You don't need to believe in psychokinesis. You just need to notice what your mind does when you hear the word. That's the work. Not bending spoons, but softening the walls inside you. And in that space, anything might move. Part 7. Science at the Edge. Welcome back. You're resting at the edge now. The edge of thought, the edge of dream, the edge of what we think we know. Tonight, we step into that space where science meets mystery. Because even the sharpest minds have looked at psychokinesis and wondered, could there be something here? Not with answers, but with questions. In quiet rooms far from headlines, experiments have been done, people focusing on dice rolls, on bending metal, on shifting electronic signals. Sometimes nothing happened, but sometimes something did. Tiny movements, odd patterns, moments that couldn't be easily explained. And when things couldn't be repeated, many walked away, but a few stayed curious. Because science isn't only about what's proven, it's about what's possible. And possibility lives in the unmeasurable, in the moments that don't quite fit, in the soft places between cause and effect. That's where psychokinesis waits, not as a fact, but as a maybe. And in science, a maybe is enough to keep listening. Some theories suggest that consciousness might be more than thought, that it may interact with reality at a level we don't yet understand. Quantum fields, subtle energies, invisible connections between observer and observed. We don't have the tools to measure it clearly, but that doesn't mean it isn't there. So as you rest here, drifting between certainty and sleep, let that space stay open. You don't need to prove anything tonight. You just need to wonder. And wondering, dear listener, is the first step toward knowing. Part 8. The Quiet Practice. Welcome back. You've crossed into the deeper layers now, where the noise fades and only the subtle things remain. Tonight we sit with the practice itself, because whether or not you ever move an object, the practice of psychokinesis offers something more important: stillness, focus, presence. It's not about trying harder, it's about softening your grip, letting go of effort, and returning to awareness. The most dedicated practitioners don't force their will onto the world. They simply become still enough to notice where their energy already is. They breathe, they center, they feel. They pay attention to how intention feels in the body, not rushed, not loud, but like a single drop falling into a calm pond. And they don't always aim for movement. Sometimes the movement is internal, a shift in emotion, a clearing of mental noise, a deeper sense of connection to the space around them. Maybe the true power isn't in moving a pen, but in being so still that even a thought becomes noticeable. In that state, your awareness expands, not because you reach outward, but because the world seems to come closer. Everything slows, everything softens, everything listens. So tonight, let the practice be this. Feel your body, feel the air touching your skin, feel the space in the room. Now feel your attention stretch gently outward, not far, just beyond the body. Feel the world respond, not with action, but with presence. That is enough. No effort, no goal, just the quiet practice of being aware. And in that, everything begins to move. Part 9. When the mind rests, the field opens. Welcome back. You are lighter now, not because something left, but because something opened. You're resting in the quiet between thoughts, and this perhaps is where the real work begins. Tonight we explore the field, not a place, not a thing, but a space. The field is what some believe connects all things. The mind, the body, the world. Not in theory but in feeling. This is the space psychokinesis touches, not by pushing, but by tuning. Like a stringed instrument, when you're still enough, you begin to resonate. You feel the quiet hum of everything around you. That hum responds to attention, not control, just presence. Some say the field is like water. You are not above it, not outside it. You are in it. Your thoughts, your focus, your feelings, they create ripples. And just like in water, those ripples touch things, not loudly, not always visibly, but undeniably. And when the mind is rested, when it's not spinning or pushing, the ripples become clearer. Psychokinesis may not be about bending reality, but gently meeting it at the edge, where awareness and matter blur. So as you lie here drifting between wake and dream, feel the field. Not with effort, just with softness. Feel the space holding you, the quiet, listening back. There's no need to move anything. You are already part of everything. And that may be the greatest power of all. Part 10. You are the movement. Welcome back. One last time tonight, you followed the thread, through stillness, through wonder, through the spaces between thought and matter, and now you arrive, not at an answer, but at a soft knowing. Psychokinesis may not be about moving objects. It may not be about bending spoons or shifting flames or lifting things without touch. Maybe it's something quieter. Maybe it's about remembering that your mind is not a closed loop, that your awareness does not end at your skin, that your thoughts leave gentle imprints like footsteps on soft earth. You are not separate from the world. You are within it, moving with it, breathing with it. And every time you focus, every time you feel deeply, every time you sit in silence with intention, you shape the world. Not loudly, not always visibly, but meaningfully. So as you rest here, feel the stillness you've created, the space you've cleared, the energy that surrounds you, soft, present, aware. You are the field, you are the focus, you are the movement. Even in sleep, even in dream, even in the quietest parts of you, psychokinesis may not need proof, because its truest form lives in presence, and presence is what you've just practiced. So sleep now, knowing that your thoughts matter, your stillness matters, you matter, and in your rest, the world gently shifts with you.